Hi, Enis from Never Stop Trucking here. Today we are doing clearinghouse checks, and all trucking companies have to do this. And there are some trucking companies that have no idea that this is a must too. So if you don't have a clearinghouse account and you're not doing queries to check your drivers before they start driving, and then if you don't annually check them out on the clearinghouse website, then your drivers are most likely running illegal. So this is for trucking companies who have their own authority and DOT number in place. You have to do this as well. So let me start from the beginning real quick here for you that don't know how to use the clearinghouse website. And then since this is a very sensitive information, for the drivers, and it's a government website, so I'm just gonna protect some of the data here, and I'm gonna be using myself because I'm a driver. I'm in a drug screen program myself as a driver in my company, and then I have to do this for myself too. So I'm just gonna be using myself as an example. So here, this is the clearinghouse.fmcsa.gov.gov/register. So this is where you go to register your account, and then you have a few options here. So most likely you're either interested in registering as a driver or as an employer. So all drivers have to register here, and if you want to do this electronically, so this is the best way and the most easiest way. So if you're a driver, you would register a driver account. If you're an employer, you would register an employer account. So let's say you're a driver, you have to go to login.gov to register. So you go to login.gov, and then here you can register an account, create your login.gov account, and you have to start with your email and all that. So you would register an account here with login.gov, and then you are all set for now. But if you are an employer, then you would register here, and you would perform queries here. So here, like here on top of the website, you have an option to register. So you would register your company here, create an account, and then you would register as a trucking company with MC number and DOT number. If you already have an account, then you would just sign in here. Okay, so this is my account, and this is my annual queries that I did, and the pre-employment queries. Now this is for last period. Now this, because the last pre-employment query I did was about like 6 months ago, and it doesn't show here, but this is like for the most recent ones. So I did perform queries yesterday when I was at home, because I didn't want to miss it, the deadline. So I will walk you through that video too. I will show you what I did when I did the queries. But another thing I want to point out here, so today is January 3rd. Okay, and then I did my queries yesterday, January 2nd, because I do them every year before January 5th. The wording is somewhat confusing with Clearinghouse, as it's the case with a lot of government business. So let me read this to you. The deadline for conducting your first annual queries in the Fmcsa Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse is January 5th. So each year. Now this is just for 2021, and right now it's 2022. But it's January 5th every year. Annual queries are to be conducted at least once in a 12-month rolling period. For example, if you conduct your first annual queries on November 1st, then your next annual queries will need to be conducted no later the November 1st of the following year. Besides this, you have to do a pre-employment query, and that's before you hire the driver officially. So when the driver comes to you, a new driver, and you want to hire that new driver, they have to have this account already set up, okay, at login.gov, and you have to have yours, of course, here. But then you would do a query here, and that would be a full query. And for that full query, they're gonna check, a lot of like the history with his drug screening and all that, whether they ever tested positive. So that's called a full query, and you're gonna do that one every time before the driver starts driving your truck. Before you put the driver in the truck, the query has to come back. It has to be approved that this driver is okay for you to put in a truck. So that's a full query. For these annual, it doesn't have to be a full query. For that one, you don't need an electronic consent, because when you do a full query and you're hiring that employer, once you go here, you conduct a query, then they will send this driver a notice to their account, and they have to log into that login.gov account and then approve this query. They have to consent that you can go ahead and perform this query to check them out. And then once the government has their consent, then the query will be performed, and then it will come back to you and will tell you, okay, this driver said it's fine to do it, and then here are the results, and the driver is okay to be hired. That's the full query. Also, when you hire that driver, you have to give them a piece of paper, and they have it here on Clearinghouse website. You can print it out, or you can find it online, or you can go to my website, neverstoptruck.in, and go to downloads, and then over there in that packet for drivers, you have this form as well. And then they would sign this form, and they will allow you every year to conduct this annual query, so you don't have to ask them every year, every time you do this annual query. Then you have it in your folder there, the qualification folder, and then you can just perform this every year. Now this here, like I said, is a little bit confusing. This says, like, if you're conducting your first annual query, then it has to be done by January 5th. But then to me, this is really confusing. So I do it before January 5th every year, either way. Okay, so I don't want to mess with this, because let's see, it matters when you first hire the driver, and then you have to do it next year on that same day. But to me, I don't do it that way. No matter if I had hired my driver 3 months ago, I would still do it on January 5th. So this way, I don't have to worry when I hire the driver and when is the next due date. So I just do them all January 5th, or like I did yesterday, January 2nd. But next year, I have to do it on January 2nd again. And that's how I do it. But this year, like I said, it's really confusing, and to me it doesn't make sense, like the way they did this year. But anyway, let's go to the employer account here. So in order to conduct a query, you have to purchase, what do they call them? The query plan. Purchase a query plan, and then it's $1.25 per query rate. So you have to pay for that, and depending how many drivers you have, then you're just going to purchase that plan. Let's say you have 5 drivers, and then you purchase that plan here, and then you have 5 queries available, and you can perform a query. You can perform 5 queries with this plan. Okay, so let's go and show you how to do that. So this is how you do the query. I already purchased 5 query here plan, and then what you would do is you would go to conduct query and then put all the information for the driver, including their date of birth and the license number and the state of issuance for the license, and then you just hit the verify driver information and it will verify it, and then you click next. This is what I was talking about. Now we're doing a limited query instead of a full query. Full query, you should do that only when you're hiring drivers, new drivers, and then you can do this one. But the limited query is easier to do when you're doing these annual ones, because you don't need electronic consent. You just certify there that you have it in file from before, and then you just go to conduct query, and then it's done, and then you go back to the first page there, and that's where you can view the query that you just performed and your other queries too. So here it is on top. That's the one I just did, and hopefully this will help you, and come back soon for more. Thanks for watching.